Welcome to Pop Culture Roulette for all your pop culture needs. We're America's podcast. All right, welcome everyone. I am Nicholas. I am joined by shocked by the scores of the NFL, Justin.
Am I?
I mean, come on, the Lions actually won a game.
Go Lions. Now, I figured
And-
it might have something to do with me being a NFL owner now.
That is true. I forgot. I guess I should have said now joined by new NFL owner Justin and I don't know, motivational speaker wannabe Jeremy.
What? Wow. What's going on, guys?
I'll have you in to talk to the team, Jeremy.
Yeah, bite those kneecaps, guys.
We can talk about sports real fast for a second, but I have a surprise for today. But let's talk about. All right, I know that the Viking fans are insane because they're Viking fans to begin with. But I was looking right before we started this. I was looking at the NFL quarterback stats, and honestly, Kirk Cousins is like in line for an MVP with the numbers that he's got going right now.
Yeah, he's like number 2, I think. He's like the second
Right.
highest ranked quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, and like I looked at his QBR for today, and it was high. The Vikings aren't losing because of him, but all of the Viking fans are like, Cousins sucks. He's the worst. Oh my! And it's like, you don't get that you actually have a good quarterback. What you don't have is a good head coach or a good defense.
Yeah, that's fair.
That is fair.
Because I mean, if you look number wise, I think he's slightly better than Rodgers. He has one less interception and the same amount of touchdowns.
He can't lead his team back.
That is true. He does. Well, it's not so much. I mean, he led his team back to victory. His team, his coaching, just snatched victory away from the jaws of defeat. Like,
Oh, today. Yeah.
I mean, they were up. They were winning. All they had to do was control the clock
Yeah.
or punt the ball on
That's
fourth
true.
and yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. Today, I have made us a game.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
awesome.
It is a I don't know. This could be too easy for Jeremy because part of it's in his wheelhouse,
Okay.
but it is R-rated / movies for adults turned into kids cartoons.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
So our first one is, what ultra-violent movie was turned into a cartoon? RoboCop, Terminator, or Predator?
Is this like, are we just both guessing?
Oh yeah, both guess.
Okay.
RoboCop.
Okay.
Well, I actually have no idea, but Justin sounded really confident, so I'm going to say RoboCop.
Okay. That would make both of you correct. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stick with me,
I-
Jeremy. We'll go places.
I watched RoboCop for the first time last week.
The cartoon or the movie?
The movie. And I was, well, first off, I was blown away with how much it really didn't hold up. But two, like, who watched this movie and went, you know, it would make a good a good Saturday morning kids cartoon? This.
Right.
And then Rob Schneider being in it.
Nope.
Oh, Judge Dredd, he's in.
Yeah, Judge Dredd. Yeah.
I
No,
do remember the RoboCop cartoon.
RoboCop was Red Foreman.
Oh, yeah.
Kurtwood Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What even happened in that cartoon? I don't understand.
I don't begin to know how you make a movie where the entire premise is a cop gets shot up so badly, the only way they can like keep him alive is to turn him into like 90% robot.
Right.
And he just needs to go around town blowing holes into people.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that cartoon was. I just remember it existing. And I got to thinking, what other, because I remember now that got me thinking about other cartoons
hmm
that were inappropriate. What Sylvester Stallone movie was also turned into a cartoon? Rocky, Rambo, or Cobra?
I'm gonna say Rambo.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Cobra.
Oh, well, that would be Rambo. Rambo was turned
Yes.
in another one. Like,
I feel like I would have remembered if there's a Rambo cartoon.
oh, I remember because there were action figures and like plastic knives. Oh, it was kind of a big to do when it came out. Like it was people were a little like now I've only seen the first Rambo. I haven't seen like 2 through 800.
This is when I cancel the podcast. I
Um,
have seen every one of those movies multiple times.
so you can tell me. I know the first one isn't very bloody or violent, but it's kind of more of a psychological thriller. Like it's kind of a tight like dealing with PTSD and like the attitudes of like a returning war veteran.
Yeah.
I mean it's definitely adult movie. Like
Mhm.
kids shouldn't watch that movie. It's not some. And then in the later ones they get more violent and silly, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
real bad.
Okay. Again, why would you turn this into a kids cartoon?
Well, what year did the cartoon come out? Do you have any of that information?
No, I didn't actually write down any of that information.
Because I'm assuming the cartoon would have had to have come out before they did like 3, 4. So it's probably
I mean, it was definitely after, if memory serves, it would have been after the second or third one, because the at least the second one, because I know the cartoon was more of like Rambo and the Action Squad, like going around like globe, like it was more like a we want to make a GI Joe ripoff. Let's use the word Rambo.
all right.
Yeah.
That would probably have been after the second one. Because the second one is when he goes back to get the
Okay.
POWs.
All right.
Well, the only reason I could think of them making that is they're greedy and lazy.
Oh, that's what this game is all about. Greedy, lazy.
All right.
You're both aware of the work of Troma, right?
Unfortunately.
Okay. What Troma film was oddly enough turned into a kids cartoon? Sergeant Kabuki Man NYPD,
Okay.
Surf Nazis Must Die, or The Toxic Avenger?
Toxic Avenger.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, you guys are actually pretty good about on this one so far. But this is also a 3-page game, so
Oh,
Wow.
all right.
All right.
there is a lot of these that like really should never have happened.
Well, you already named 3. That should-
No, there should have been a Rambo cartoon.
Okay. All right. That's
I will have to try to find this.
Finding these are going to be difficult. Some are out there. I mean, there's the streaming services like Tubi has some of them, and then some of the more random streaming services has them. I think Amazon Prime had a few of them, but yeah, finding them is a little difficult. All right, what screwball '80s comedy was inexplicably? Wow, I struggle with that word. Don't put that word in your Christmas script.
all right. Note to self.
What was turned into a cartoon? Police Academy, Caddyshack, or Revenge of the Nerds?
Oh my God.
Ooh,
I want to say, I feel like it was Revenge of the Nerds.
I'm feeling like Caddyshack.
Oh man, you're both wrong. It was Police Academy.
What the fuck?
Which I don't. I mean, I don't know. Have either of you actually seen the Police Academy movies?
Yes.
I
Okay.
don't know if I've seen them all, but yes, I've seen
The
some.
first,
I have the box set on DVD.
the
You
first one
would.
is definitely not family friendly. There's a lot more adult content and nudity and blowjobs under tables
Mm.
and things like that. I
That
think
could be
honestly,
family friendly. That could keep the family together.
I think honestly, if you track that movie, you see that the switch in the movie becoming more family friendly after the cartoon. Like when they get to like Police Academy, like Assignment Miami or whatever, when they're up to like what number 7, like that's I think when it's more family friendly, and I think that's after the cartoon.
Mm.
But yeah, okay, all right. Well, since we've already given Stallone his due,
Yes.
we gotta go to the other guy, Justin's favorite.
Ooh.
Which Arnold movie was turned into a cartoon? Running Man, Conan the Barbarian, or Total Recall?
Conan the Barbarian.
Okay, I'm gonna have to say Conan.
All right. Yeah, that would be correct. It was renamed Conan the Adventurer,
Hmm.
but yeah, it was. Now that one's a bit of a stretch because there's some claim that it's not based off of the movie, but it totally is. It's not like it's not based off the card. Like it came out after the success of at least the first movie, if not the first 2 movies. And the design was made look pretty much just like Arnold.
Well, I'm gonna guess he probably doesn't have sex with that witch woman in that cartoon version.
Well, we'll have to hunt that cartoon version down to find that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to find at least the Stallone one, the Rambo one.
I feel like that lasted for a couple of years too. Like it was not just like some of these were like a 13 episode and done kind of thing. But all right, what sword fighting epic was turned into a cartoon? Highlander, 13th Warrior, or Braveheart?
Mm. I'll say Highlander. Although,
I'm gonna go with Braveheart.
All right, Jeremy gets that one.
ooh,
Highlander.
Man, Jeremy's only got one wrong so far.
there could be
Okay.
only one.
Yeah, there can be only Juan.
All right, what R-rated Alien Fest was turned into a kids cartoon? Alien, Starship Troopers, or Critters?
I'm gonna go with Aliens.
I'll say Starship Troopers.
Oh, look at that, Jeremy pulling it out there.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they renamed it the Roughnecks Starship Trooper Chronicles.
Okay.
All right. All right. This is where I start to get a little bit away from like the R-rated stuff and more into like the why would you still make this movie into a children's cartoon? What cheeseball flick was turned for made for adults was turned into a cartoon? Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Airplane, or Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Agree.
Yeah, I kind of figured you would both know that one.
We know our 80s schlock.
Yeah.
I,
Although a Killer Clowns cartoon would have been awesome.
it would
Yeah.
have been. That's why I chose it. Okay, I just watched some of that the films that made us on Netflix, and I watched the one on Elf because I
Yeah.
was really fascinated to see how they did like the force. Like it wasn't CGI; it was all forced perspective.
Mhm.
Like Will Ferrell was close to the camera, and everybody else was like 10 feet behind him, and they
Mhm.
had to act like they were right next to each other. But the Kyoto brothers, the guys who directed Killer Clowns from Outer Space, did all of the stop motion animation for Elf.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice.
Okay, so what late '90s horror film was almost horror film was turned into a kids cartoon? The Mummy, Scream, or Candyman?
I think I know this one. Was it
Oh.
the Mummy?
I'm gonna agree with Jeremy. I'm gonna stick with him on this one.
It was.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, then they used the names of the characters from the Mummy movies for the cartoon. Don't believe anybody from the movies did the voices for said cartoon, which I think is actually true across the board.
Okay.
Movies, adult musicals, not necessarily like Grease or something like that, stuff that is more aimed at high schoolers, turned into a kids cartoon. Little Shop of Horrors, The Blues Brothers, or The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Jeremy, have a guess?
Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Okay, you're both right on that one.
As soon as you said musical turned into a cartoon, I was gonna say Little Shop of Horrors because I know it was a cartoon. I was hoping maybe Jeremy would have got it wrong.
I'm surprised they didn't do Blues Brothers though. That seems like it would have been like perfect for that.
Some of these I chose them because I'm like, what would have made more sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, if you watch Little Shop of Horrors, I've seen the one with Rick Moranis and Steve Martin. I've never seen like the older one, but I mean that movie's kind of messed up. I mean, it's about a giant plant that goes around killing and eating people, and like Rick Moranis like has to like talk to it and
Dismember bodies.
Right? Yeah, it's not a movie that is. I'm honestly surprised that like kids do it for high school musicals. Like I think my sister was in a performance of that, and it's like then they went like, you know what, kids cartoon. Yep. Saturday morning.
Perfect.
All right.
Talking plant. Yeah, we can make it work.
All right. And to wrap it up, which adult anthology series was turned into a kids cartoon? The Outer Limits, Tales from the Crypt, or Creep Show?
I don't know. I'll say Creep Show.
Tales from the Crypt.
All right. Justin, you're right on that one. It was
another one I knew.
It was Tales from the Crypt Keeper. All right, so let's do a quick tabulation.
Jeremy won. Jeremy missed 2 total.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So Jeremy wins.
He missed 2. I missed 4.
But yeah,
good game.
I had almost come up with that game a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, because I was just thinking randomly about it. But then I just sat down and watched RoboCop and went, they really made a kids cartoon about this. Like I don't consider myself to be like a prude by any stretch of the imagination, but and I do remember. Because you're more 90s. I don't know if you remember in the 80s they had blocks of kids cartoons on Saturday mornings, not just like all the time or around. Like, I mean, they had blocks of animation like before school, after school kind of stuff, but Saturday mornings from like 6 to noon or 8 to noon, whatever, there were at least 2 networks that would compete. And every year there would be like they would have like a special, like an hour, and they would like introduce the new cartoons that were coming out, and like they would have and then for my parents and at the time I was probably annoyed by it, but now I understand it. Like my mom or dad, mainly dad, would sit down and watch the first episode of all the new cartoons and deem whether or not we were allowed to watch them. So like I didn't know what to do with Beetlejuice, so I left it off the list because Beetlejuice is, I mean, it's a movie that I wouldn't necessarily show it to young kids, but it's more kid friendly than say, I don't know, Rambo.
What's wrong with watching Rambo as a young kid?
A lot to learn from Rambo.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that my dad didn't show me some of those movies at a young age that he probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Who's didn't though?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, and that, but I remember that being like, blocks of kids cartoons, like, and then my sister and I, we would have to like, horse trade with each other to see like who got the TV at what half hour block, and I get it for this hour, and then you get it for this hour.
It's funny. So did you have to wait for them to re-air to watch them again since your parents had to watch them first, or did they tape them or
I think, I mean, there
Did
might
you
have-
watch them with your parents?
I mean, I feel like there's a good chance that like we watched them with them, and
okay.
then they would deem like whether or not like it was just something we could watch after that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And like I mean, it's hard to remember. I mean, because that was so long ago. I just remember it being a thing.
Right. Right.
They would. But I more remember like I don't want to watch Smurfs. I want to watch this. But they're like, well, you got this, so you have to watch Smurfs with your sister, or
Yeah.
or My Little Pony, or Care Bears, or one of those, so I could watch Transformers and GoBots and GI Joe.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, that's what I was struck with after watching RoboCop. Of like, man, like could you imagine them trying to do that in today's day and age?
Right. Like John Wick, the animated series.
Right. No, I mean, if they were, well, and the other thing, like with today's day and age, like if they were going to do a John Wick animated series, they would just throw it on Netflix or Hulu, and it would be for adults,
Right.
like Hit Monkey, like,
Yeah.
but but back then, I mean, they didn't make animation for, well, I mean, they did, they just didn't know they were making animation for adults. Adults had to be like, I know that my dad watched several cartoons with us because he liked them and wanted to see that particular cartoon.
Yeah.
But he just had to be like, yeah, no, it's my son. He's the one. He's a
Yeah.
big fan. Yeah.
That Nicholas made me watch G.I. Joe's again.
I mean, I guess now we can be a little bit more open about the fact that like as an adult we enjoy cartoons. I mean, there is that whole random weird brony phenomena.
Yep. Yep. That's still kind of a strange subculture.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to accept them.
No, I'm not either. But that's for different reasons, not for like I've always felt like if you want to be an adult and watch a cartoon, be an adult and watch a cartoon. Who cares? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
if I want to binge out on Clone Wars, I'm gonna binge out on Clone Wars.
Right. Yeah. There's no
Yeah, I
shame
mean-
in that.
Shrek
It's-
is one of my all-time favorite movies. So is The
It's-
Incredibles.
I'd say, especially if you just want to like turn something mind numbing on that you don't have to pay attention to.
Right.
Like the other day, I think I turned on Ugly Americans. If you remember that cartoon,
Sounds familiar.
the one with the guy and he's like dating the female devil, and his roommate's like Frankenstein's monster.
It was on Comedy Central, right?
Yeah, it was right around the same time as Super Jail.
Okay.
I turned that on. I turned that on when I was laying down because I was like, yeah, I don't really have to pay attention to this. It's background noise, and I enjoy it.
Yeah. I want to shut my brain off.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if I remember that one. I mean, the name rings a bell, but like everything you just described doesn't. So
his roommate's like a zombie almost.
Hmm.
Yeah,
All right. I'll add it to my ever increasing list of things to watch.
Rambo is called the Force of Freedom.
Ooh. Now that's
okay, I remember
What-
I remember the devil, but I don't remember. Yeah, I don't think I ever watched this.
The Rambo thing says it had 1 season and 65 episodes.
Holy
Okay.
crap.
That was the other thing that Saturday morning cartoons used to do because they were on like every Saturday for a year.
In
Like,
1986.
one season. Like now it's like one season's like 20 episodes or like Hitmonkey was just like 10. And then it's like another 2 years before you get another season.
Yeah.
Like back then they were just like, which tells me that the quality probably wasn't there, but
Yeah.
that they would just crank out like 60 episodes in a season. Like that's also why when you go to buy GI Joe on DVD, it's like season 1, volume 1. Like
Oh man, the first like couple images here, I see there's an image of Rambo as a cartoon with this giant mounted gun on the back of a Jeep. Like that would just it's ridiculous. That would never happen now.
yeah, that's the other. I mean,
There's a Gatling gun.
Yeah.
if they were gonna do a Rambo cartoon now, they would just make it. It would just be a Netflix cartoon,
Mhm.
and they would completely sell out to the violence.
Yeah.
They wouldn't try to be like, we're making it for kids. I mean, and if memory serves, it was on like it was on for that whole year with 65 episodes. So it was on. They had action figures. They probably had a breakfast cereal. I don't. I mean, everything back then had action figures and breakfast cereals.
So weird.
But like I googled like R-rated cartoons turned into R-rated movies turned into kids cartoons. I mean the lists are pretty exhaustive. I mean I did try to trick you guys with the Alien one because apparently they did make episodes or they did try to make a cartoon out of Aliens 3, but it never actually made it to air.
Oh.
So you can find still images of it, but like you can't find any episodes.
Hmm.
And it was Alien 3, not Alien.
Interesting.
So, but yeah, no, it was just like I was like, wait, they made a Tales from the Crypt cartoon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to check that out.
Like I remember I mean, I've watched a lot of Tales from the Crypt. That was an HBO show. So that was in the early days of HBO where like it was definitely like let's include some tits and everything and we don't need to. Like, which might actually still be a policy they have get based on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
No complaints.
Yeah. If you want to sprinkle in a couple random tits, that's
Ah.
fine. I gotta find this cartoon now. That looks pretty cool.
Do you have when it came out?
No, I'm just looking at the images. I can check here. 93.
I said, I feel like
93.
that was early 90s.
You seen it, Justin?
I remember it.
It was like straight up a kids thing, or did they have like any horrific elements to it?
I don't remember a week ago. I just
All
remember
right.
I just remember there was a cartoon.
All right, I'll see if I can find that one.
Yeah. We need to figure out what streaming service has these.
Yeah, if only there was
Alright.
some kind of app that allowed us to just input something and it would tell us.
Yeah. What would that be called?
Something like, can I stream it?
I might have to ask Jeeves on this one. I think he's unemployed these days.
Oh, Jeeves.
All right.
The only time I'll probably ever have a butler.
It's true.
Jeeves. We were gonna make some shirts once that said "I still ask Jeeves," and it was gonna be like a Photoshop version of Jeeves, like all aged up.
Nice.
Yeah,
Looking like Alfred.
yeah.
Perfect.
We should still make that. Don't steal that.
Yeah. It's ours.
all right. I do have a little bit of some new stuff.
All right.
Another asteroid.
Oh no.
This one is 2.5 million miles away.
Okay. Is that closer or further than the last one?
I can't remember. I forgot
Okay.
to look. I meant to look. But yeah, it is. It's still 2.5 million miles away.
Closing in on a hurry.
They're
What
like,
if?
they're like, yeah, we classify that as a close contact or something like that. I'm like, Really? 2.5 million miles. Like, you know how many times you can circle the planet Earth before you?
I do not.
No, I do not either. But
Yeah,
it must be
I-
a lot.
I'm
I don't.
curious.
I don't know. I
Ask
didn't look that-
Superman.
Yeah.
I didn't. I know last time I did all the math on that, and this time I didn't because I just was like, yeah, I did it once before. Go back to whatever.
How many miles round is the Earth?
I mean, go back and do the math.
We'll just we'll re-edit it in later.
Okay. All right.
A cheesy voiceover.
Okay.
196 million miles. Is that what I just read? That doesn't
Earth is
sound
not-
right.
I was gonna say the Earth is not
Oh.
190 miles.
Earth is only 24,860 miles around.
Okay. So that's
Yeah.
quite a few times around
Yeah.
the Earth.
Yeah. So we got some time.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that this person tends to get a lot of shit from us. So
Could be anybody.
and in a time
Literally.
where she steps up and does something, I have to be the bigger man here and nominate her for Hero of the Week.
Okay.
Kim Kardashian
Oh my God. What did she do?
apparently went out of her way and spent a lot of her own money and effort to get the entire women's Afghan soccer team out of Afghanistan.
Okay.
She was like, she wasn't necessarily the entire driving force behind it, but she was a big driving force behind it. Like, I guess she was the one who got the planes that helped get them all out. Because when we abandoned Afghanistan and the Taliban took back over, like basically the women had gained the right to vote. They had gained also the ability to drive and play soccer and do all sorts of stuff that in this country women just take for granted.
Mhm.
And when
Basic human rights.
yeah, basic
Taken for
basic-
granted.
basic human rights. I mean, no, I'm not kidding. I mean, and there are countries where like animals have more rights than women do.
That's
know?
yeah. That's pretty fucked up.
And so when it was just because they had played soccer when it was allowed,
Yeah.
how that these horrible men are back in charge of that country. A lot of these women were in danger of losing their life just because they did play soccer at one point. Like,
Mhm.
how did they? Because they also went and got education. They learned how to read. Like it's just,
Mhm.
so I have to say when somebody steps up and does something like that, when normally we trash her and we make fun of her for the stupid things that she does.
Yeah. We have to give her some credit
We
when
have-
she does
We
good.
have, so for
Well, did she
for this
actually go into like a hot zone? Like she went there?
I don't think she went there. I think that she just organized a lot of what it took to get the planes and the money and
Okay.
get it. I mean, but still, I mean,
Yeah. I'm not taking it away from her, but it would be
Yeah.
even more impressive if she went there.
I mean, she didn't strap up and
She walked in there. She's like, you. this
Come
plane."
on.
she didn't strap on the commando boots, pick up an AK and go boots down.
Yeah. Could you imagine though? Oh man. She would have been a hero for the rest of her life. I would have never forgotten about that moment.
So, all right, yeah. So
Okay,
it
good
is-
honor.
so, yeah, good honor. Okay. So that's our hero, at least my hero of the week. I don't know if
Sure. I don't have anybody. So
okay, all right.
I feel like this is one of those segments I've rarely contributed to.
I don't even remember you ever contributing to douche of the week back when we were doing that one. So
I'm sure there was like one or two.
yeah.
well,
yeah.
yeah.
That's probably about it.
Are you guys aware of Hammer Films?
Like Dracula.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So you are aware of Hammer Films.
Yeah.
Justin,
I don't think so.
do you know the Christopher Lee Dracula movies?
Maybe.
Okay. in the 60s, 70s, maybe 50s, I don't know. There was a company in England called Hammer Films. They made a lot of B, maybe even C grade horror films.
It's right
Uh,
right up our alley on this
right up our
podcast.
alley. Hammer Films is being sold to a company whose name I neglected to write down.
Perfect.
But
right.
it's being sold for the express purpose of archiving, restoration, and preservation purposes.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
that because Hammer Films, I guess they can't keep up with all their. I mean, because old film starts to deteriorate after a while. So there's a big push. I mean, a couple years ago, AFI was really pushing to get a lot of these movies converted over to digital because a lot of these films. That's why, if you remember during our vampire segment on during Halloween, I
Mhm.
talked about a lot of the lost movies. That's why a lot of these movies are lost. That because they got locked in a film vault somewhere and not properly cared for, so they've deteriorated to the point where we can't view them anymore. And there's a lot of Hammer films that were getting to that point, so they're being sold to a company for the express purpose of basically they're going to be digitized, cleaned up, and repackaged and sold to us on Blu-ray, or they might sell them to Netflix or something, just so people can actually start to see them again. Because I mean, as cheesy as they are, some of that Hammer stuff is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, never Oscar worthy good, but good in good in the way that we enjoy good.
Good enough for
Good
us.
Yeah.
Oh, and apparently they're also the company to make some money off of not just selling more Blu-rays to those of us who will buy them. They're going to start remaking some of the Hammer films or do sequels to them.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
Yeah.
so I'm all right with that. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
because nothing in the Hammer franchise is so like sacred where I'd be like, how dare you want to remake The Bride of Dracula or
Yeah. Right. Like
The Curse of Dracula's Tomb?
yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
I think it's time we riot.
So here's some confusing stuff. Did you guys catch an interview that Keanu Reeves did recently?
No, I
Like on a talk show or
I don't even know where it was. It could have been on another podcast, but I wasn't listening to it. I read an article. Keanu Reeves, have either of you seen Bram Stoker's Dracula?
I feel like I have.
I would say I think most of it.
Okay. There's a scene in Bram Stoker's Dracula where Keanu Reeves' character, Renfield, maybe? I can't remember who he plays in that movie. Gets married to Winona Ryder. And Francis Ford Coppola went out and hired an actual priest for the role.
So does that mean that they're legally married?
Keanu Reeves, in his mind, truly believes that because it was done by an actual priest, him and Winona Ryder have actually been married for over 30 years now. Which I'm sure is a shock. Which I'm sure is a shock to Winona Ryder, who I believe has gotten married at least once, if not twice, since then.
She's probably like, I'm okay with this. Give me some of that John Wick money.
Yeah, because I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that he. I don't know if he's ever been married.
I don't think so.
A fellow bachelor for life. Me and Keanu.
Yeah, so she was
Kindred
engaged to
souls.
She was engaged to Johnny Depp for a while. She was dated the guy from Soul Asylum for a while.
Ooh, that's weird.
She dated Matt Damon for a while, and now she's been in a relationship with somebody else. Okay, apparently she's never actually been married, so maybe she hasn't broken the law. She's just constantly dating other men other than the guy that she's married to.
Hey, some people have open relationships like that.
But yeah, I mean, I hate to break it to Keanu, but as somebody who has actually legally performed weddings and has been married himself, the wedding ceremony, the thing that everybody goes and watches, means nothing. I mean, it's all pomp and circumstance. I mean, it's what people want to see, but ultimately, the wedding ceremony itself happens over to the side when the guy who does the ceremony signs the paper, and then both of you sign the paper.
Right. Right.
So if there was no paper sign, like if that guy wasn't like, okay, Keanu Winona, come over here, sign this paper.
With your legal names, not your character names.
Yeah, yeah. If that wasn't done, then they're not legally married, despite what he thinks that they are. But yeah, I just thought that was if that article came out of left field. It was like, wait, what?
That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's an interesting guy.
He is an interesting guy. Um, did you see that Kristen Bell is taking a lot of shit online?
Uh-oh. No, I didn't.
Oh man, just what's that line from Batman Return or not Batman Return? Yeah, Batman Returns. No, no, no,
Want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
no. That's Batman. The
I-
second one, the one
Nice to meet you.
because it's Batman Begins.
Nice to meet you.
The Dark Knight. That's the one.
You,
Dark
you-
Knight.
you need to chill.
Put it on my charge card. No. Okay. So there is the Two-Face says, Aaron, what's his name? Two-Face
Rodgers?
says, no, not Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Eckhart.
Carter.
Aaron Eckhart, yeah, says to Bruce Wayne, you live, you either die here or live long enough to see yourself torn down. And I feel like we handled that a couple weeks ago when we attacked the internet for going after Chris Pratt.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And now I feel like we're having to defend Kristen Bell. She dared pose for pictures with cops.
Uh-oh.
How dare she?
Oh my good, people were losing. How dare she? People were losing their ever-loving minds over
Well.
Kristen Bell posing. Like she had to go to the police station for some reason, and so they were like, "Oh my goodness, it's Kristen Bell," and like she seems like like Chris Pratt, like a really cool person. Like they would just be like, "Okay, sure, you want to take a picture? Great." And so she's being chummy and pals with him, and taking pictures, and then if she posted or they posted them online because they're all like, "Guys, we met Kristen Bell," and then people were like, "How dare you, Kristen? You should know better than to pose with cops." And oh my god,
Wow. What a bunch of angry people.
Everyone's just looking for a reason to be mad.
oh, whatever.
Those
That's
same people would instantly call the cops if they needed help with something.
yeah.
Right.
The same people that want to defund the police are the same people that are spending thousands of thousands a month on private security.
Oh, yikes.
Anyway, we're getting dangerously political here, and this we try to keep
Yeah.
this a politically free podcast.
Yeah, we
So,
like to keep it light around here.
Yeah.
We learned our lesson from 5 years ago.
yeah. And then just on a final note, I happened to catch it when I was watching some TV recently. The Curtis Family C Notes.
Yeah.
One of our AGT contestants
Yeah.
is now doing JC Penney commercials.
All right.
All right.
As a family, like they're the Curtis, like they have them singing Christmas songs. I was like, oh, I
Good for
remember
them.
that.
Good for
Good
them.
for the AGT did get somebody somewhere.
Yeah.
Good for them.
How about you? Well, let's see. I also watched Cowboy Bebop this week.
Oh, I heard that was really good.
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I never watched the anime because I really just can't get into anime, regardless of Tony's opinion.
It's true.
Okay.
But so I never watched the original material. but I enjoyed the show. John Cho, I thought was really good.
Cool. That's
Nice.
good. Good to hear. Sorry, I have nothing to say about that. I really like to check that out, though. I've actually heard nothing but good things.
I don't know if either Gendy Tartovsky
Yep.
has a show on HBO Max called Primal.
Okay.
I've only watched 3 episodes so far. It is badass. It's about caveman and a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And so far through 3 episodes, not a word has been spoken.
Perfect.
It's a lot of grunting and growling and but it is amazing. And like it doesn't have to be called Gendy Tartovsky's Primal. You could just call it Primal and I'd be like, I know who drew that or I know who animated that. Because I mean it's his style. I mean
Cool.
it looks like his style. I mean it is, yeah.
I was wondering what that guy was up to.
I think he directed all the Hotel Transylvania movies.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
what's your opinion on those guys?
If you'd like to hear that, go ahead and check out our bracket.
Check out the Adam Sandler
Check out the
bracket.
Adam Sandler. And we still haven't. I still haven't watched them.
So maybe next October.
I say I watched a lot of stuff for Halloween, but somehow still missed those 3. All right, so what about you guys? What have you guys been consuming this week or the last 2 weeks?
Well, since you talked about Tony, I went and seen the new Resident Evil movie today with him, which is I thought it was going to relate to the podcast because of it. It's all right. They definitely followed the video games a lot more in this one than the other versions, which is good to see because there's so much source material with the actual video games.
Mm-hmm.
But they still took a lot of like liberties with it. They're like, no, we're gonna change this. It was pretty
cool.
good.
Okay, well, all right, maybe I'll check it out then.
Yeah, 3.5 out of 5.
Chris is in this one.
Yeah, Chris, Jill, Wesker, Leon.
Okay.
I just don't think they have. What's his name? Is it Barry? Like they go to the mansion and everything in this one, and
So is this just a complete like reboot of the franchise? Like it has nothing to do with Mila Jovovich movies?
yeah,
Okay.
it's like, yep, that stuff with Alice doesn't exist in this.
Oh, okay.
Which
We've probably talked about this before, but Alice, she doesn't exist in any of the games?
not at all.
Okay.
There's no one named Alice in the games.
They didn't like try to sneak her in later?
No, not that I've ever seen.
Okay.
Nothing with even like a document like on a wall or something that says like nothing.
Oh, okay. Oh, that reminds me. I'm guessing neither of you have gone and seen the new Ghostbusters movie yet.
I have
Not yet. I hear good things.
Spoiler-free review. I'm not going to tell you anything that happened in the movie other than it hits all of the right nostalgia buttons. Like there's enough fan service and callback that makes it enjoyable, but there's not so much of it where you're like, okay, so you just remade the first one.
Right.
I mean, it's not quite as much of a remake, like it, because I know your big problem with Force Awakens was that you said it was just a straight remake of New Hope.
Yeah, it's just gender swapped.
I could see you trying to make the same argument here, but I don't think you can. I think there's enough of a difference that they do really kind of leave it open for bringing more into the franchise and continuing with it. I know Jeremy listened to it. The Robbie Kirkland interview I just did.
Mhm.
Justin, I don't know if you had a chance to.
No, I have not yet.
There was a scene towards the end of the movie that almost broke the streak. I almost
He almost weeped.
I almost got a little misty. I'm not giving you any context, I'm not giving you any ideas as to what the scene was or what happened in it, so as to blow anything for you. But I'm just telling you, somehow Ghostbusters Afterlife almost did it, which would have had to change my entire, well, not the entire interview series, because I could just get rid of that question
Yeah.
and come up with another one. But
Scrap them both, take them down.
So me and Jeremy need to go in with a box of tissues.
maybe I don't know if it'll hit you the same way that it hit me, but
Hmm.
no.
Oh. Well, if you were on the fence, I think that should sell anybody that was on the fence.
But
It
I
almost
mean,
made you cry.
yeah, I will give that a 4.5 out of 5.
Okay.
All right.
Interesting.
I'll have to check that one out still.
All right, Jeremy, how about you? You watched anything this week?
I'm
Well,
kind of
I was gonna say the other thing I recently found out was VH1 and MTV are bringing back some old shows. I don't know when this was announced, but they're bringing back like Ink Master, Behind the Music, The Real World, Cribs, and The Surreal Life
oh my god.
are all coming back.
Okay, behind the music was always hit or miss. It always depended on who the artist was, but I could be into that. I could give a fuck about the surreal life.
I was gonna say The Surreal Life I might check out maybe the first couple based on the cast because I looked up who's gonna be in the new season.
Okay.
There's a YouTuber, Manny Mu, M-U-A.
Okay, sure, whatever.
Don't know who that is. CJ Perry, who's a wrestler. Kim Coles from Living Single.
Okay.
Tamar Braxton.
Eh.
August Alsina, a rapper. I guess he's had an affair with Jada Pinkett Smith.
Okay. That's his claim to fame.
Frankie Muniz,
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Stormy Daniels,
Oh
Okay.
my god, what a shit show.
and Dennis Rodman.
It sounds a lot like the old one. They
See,
had
you held back on me. You
I
started.
I did. You're like, don't care, don't care, don't care.
Never heard of
That's
him. Never heard of him.
interesting.
Tamar Braxton. Okay, so the less interesting and talented of the two Braxtons that I'm aware exist.
Wow. And then it's like boring, boring, boring. All right, all
Yeah.
right.
Jackpot.
Ink Master was a MTV VH1 show. I thought that was like Spike or
Yeah, me
TNT.
too.
Oh, I don't know who owned it.
That's the Dave Navarro tattoo show, right?
Yeah, that one's coming
Okay.
back.
The wife is really into that show for some reason.
I don't know. I liked that one.
She watches it on, or she used to. I don't know if she finally watched them all.
Paramount
have
Plus.
Yeah, we have that Paramount Plus, so she watched a bunch of them on that. So
Yeah, I was gonna start watching them on there, but Surreal Life, I was like, I have no interest in this until I was like reading who was in it. And then once it's like, oh, Dennis Rodman's in it, I'm like, I'll check out an episode or two.
yeah, Behind the Music is going to be for me like 30 for 30. Like, okay, I'm interested in the subject matter. I'll give that one a shot. I'm not going to watch it just because it's Behind the Music. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it also depends on who they're talking about.
right. I
Mhm.
mean, because there was some really good Behind the Musics back in the day. I mean, that was one of the better things that MTV did, non-music video related.
hmm
And I probably watched way more Cribs than I should have.
I'm right there with you. Yeah, I always found that so fascinating for some reason, but I wonder if it'd be the same now in modern times when we're all like, I don't know, that gap has gotten even wider. Now it's like, you fucking rich asshole. I don't care about all your shit.
I can easily see the show Cribs getting canceled really quickly because people are just going to be outraged.
Yeah.
You spent how much money on a gumball machine for your living room?
I don't care about your $130,000 couch.
But I assume that every episode will have them walk into the master bedroom and then say, "And this is where the magic happens."
Yep.
Because I'm
Yep.
pretty sure that was literally every episode of Cribs.
Yeah. And they always do that weird, like, different thing where they're like, when they walk down the hallway, it's almost like a stop motion thing. And they, I don't know, they always have the same formats for a lot of things in those episodes. The fridges, they'd always show the fridges.
Stock, yeah, stocks with all the labels out.
Hmm.
This is my garage. I always wanted them to do an episode of Cribs with the one guy who wasn't crazy and didn't spend all his money stupidly.
Yeah.
This is my house in the suburbs.
Very sensible.
This is my
Keanu,
this is my
this is my bus pass.
this is my
This is how I get on the
Kia.
train.
this is my Kia. This is my minivan.
Yeah, it's great gas mileage. They did an episode with the Jackass guys where it was one of them was just like a 1-bedroom apartment. It was just totally basic.
So this is my living room. As you can see, I don't have a floor to ceiling TV. It's just a 45-incher.
So not even HD yet. Haven't upgraded.
I only have an Xbox One. I haven't got the Series X yet.
I was
Yeah.
looking at buying one of those on Black Friday.
I mean, if you want to buy me one, that'd be fine.
It was like $2.99 or something for one of the Xboxes.
Hey, I'm not going to turn it down if you want to buy that for me. You go ahead.
Yeah, me too, Justin.
Oh, all right. I'll add it to the Christmas list.
Thanks. I'd love to get an X, but it seems like they're still sold out everywhere unless you have time to stay up late and keep refreshing the store pages.
But
I
Fucking bots, man.
I can't believe the Xbox Series X has been out for almost. Oh, is it over a year now, or just almost a year?
I think just a little over a year now.
And they're still this
Oh.
hard to get.
It's
same,
ridiculous.
you can say the same with the PS5s.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah,
I remember trying to get one last Black Friday. Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
we briefly flirted with buying a Switch, and like when we looked, like the one time we were like, well, and we looked at like a Walmart, and they didn't even have like the width of a Switch.
we had a bunch of them on Black Friday. They're fun.
I mean,
Nice
that,
system.
I mean, that would be the same reason like the Wii has not come out of the box since we moved here. Like it just, it's not that I'm against having more than one system. It's just I barely have time to play the one system. You know.
The real nice thing with the Switch though is like it's you can make it as a handheld.
Yeah.
So like I'll be laying down or something on the couch and I'll just play some Mario for like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Don't have to just push the power button to the side.
I mean, I do really kind of want to switch because I love Mario Kart and like the new the Mario games, like
Mhm.
Mario 64, Mario Galaxy, Mario Sunshine. Those were a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Paper Mario.
Hell yeah.
Paper Mario on the 64
Mhm.
was one of my all-time favorite games.
So good. So
I'd say
good.
that's kind of what my Switch is for. It's just like Mario games.
Paper Mario on the GameCube with that Thousand Year Door.
Mhm.
That game was
Oh, I like that one.
that game made me mad.
Too frustrating.
If memory serves, it was a game that I spent a lot of time on,
Yeah.
and then like you couldn't beat the boss. Like the final boss was like impossible. To
I don't remember the ending, but I remember having a good
'Cause I
time with it
remember,
as
like,
well.
beat. Like just losing to the boss repeatedly and like backing out of the fight and like going all the way back through and collecting more and trying to max as much out and go into the fight with as much extra stuff as you can,
Yeah.
still losing every time.
I don't remember a lot of that, but I just remember not liking the Wii one because they totally just took all the RPG elements out of it and made it like a side scroller. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Why would you even call it Paper Mario then? Get out of here.
I think is that the one where like you could turn yourself into like an airplane and
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I did play that one.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't like that one as much. either, but
Yeah.
I never
yeah.
bought it. So
Apparently,
I-
though, if you like the old Paper Mario game, there's this game called Bug Fables on Game Pass, which is supposed to be just like the old Paper Mario game.
almost downloaded that, but now that you've compared it to Paper Mario, I might actually download that.
All right. I'm going to have to check that one out too.
I am not.
Because I think Paper Mario on 64 is one of the few games that I've actually like. I went back through and played, like, and beat like 3 or 4 times. Like, it very rarely do I ever play a game. Like, once I beat it, like, I'm pretty much done with it and I move on. Like,
Yeah.
I really thoroughly enjoyed the Tomb Raider games, but I've never gone back to them.
Right. Yeah.
Same with like the God of War games for me. Never gone back. Even with Uncharted,
Like,
as fun as they were, I never went back after I beat them.
like Arkham Asylum, I keep having to pull out or not Arkham Knight, I have to pull out every so often for a Game Pass quest. But, like, I'm not going back to it. I just, like, I enjoyed it. It was a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was the least enjoyable of the 3, but I still enjoyed it. Like,
Mhm.
Oh,
like compared to Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, Arkham Knight wasn't as good, but compared to like a lot of other games I played,
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that.
all right.
too.
Well,
Yeah. I
Jeremy,
didn't,
anything you were watching?
I didn't really consume much pop culture, guys. I watched Shark Tank, and I watched the South Park latest special on Paramount Plus, the post-COVID special, which is really well done. So I recommend that.
Have to check that out.
And otherwise, I've just been playing a lot of video games. Speaking of video games, I've played a lot of Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition, which is pretty broken still. And
yeah, I heard you talking about that.
yeah,
And your hatred for Madden
yes. So
you're not-
developers.
You're not wrong. You're
Snob.
not wrong. I really think they should make Madden every other year or once every 5 years, and then just
A DLC for $20 for updated rosters.
yeah.
yeah, it really should be it. Yeah.
Or if anybody builds a new stadium or
Mhm.
like
The new rosters and like, yeah, if there's anything new, the jerseys.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's all they really need. So, but that's all I got.
All right. Well, then, if you are angry at a celebrity for posing with pictures, posing for pictures with cops,
Mhm.
or for some reason you
This is my favorite part of the episodes.
Yeah.
Who
Well,
else
this-
did something stupid?
The intro where he comes up with something for us and the outro. where
wa-
he-
watching me struggle to come up with something, or if you have decided that you want to take a movie like The Human Centipede and turn it into a kids cartoon,
Well,
just remember, stupid never walks alone.
Woo!
Oh yeah.